Good morning, July 1st, Wednesday. Welcome to Jumanji Level 7. No, it's not really that bad. But anyway, I'm going to be reading this morning from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 11. It may seem like an obscure verse, but I really believe there's a lot to it. It says this, "Now these things happened to them as an example, and they were written for our instruction, upon whom the end of the age has come." Now, what Paul is talking about here is he's referenced a few things before this statement that had happened to the Israelites, and the idea is that we are to avoid the same pitfalls that happened to the Israelites. Well, what were those pitfalls? They had all the examples of God in their life to get them out of Egypt. And if you've been joining us on any of the Wednesday night lessons, you'll know that that wilderness generation was known for their unbelief and their disobedience. And so he's telling them, don't be that way. Don't be like them. The things that happened to them happened so that we have an example. I think it's important to understand the example that each generation has upon the next generation. Whenever I was a senior in high school, I broke my foot. Was not a fun time. I was on crutches for 6 weeks of my senior year. I carried instead of just going to my locker between every period, because it was tough enough getting from class to class to class on crutches, I carried all of my books in a bag that I put around my neck when I was on my crutches, and the bag was about 45 pounds. And every time that I would move, that bag would come out and then come back and slam me right in the stomach. It was a really rough period of time. Now, I still went, we still went to church. I still did all those things. I was on crutches all the time. I hated it. It was very difficult. Later, I found out that people saw it as an example. And when I say people, I mean fellow classmates, people in the youth group, kids that were younger than me. I was told later that they saw it as a great example of making it through a tough time in their life. I didn't see it that way. I just saw me just trying to survive with crutches and stuff during my senior year. You see, we're always being watched as Christians. Yeah, most of the time it's not a awe and wonder style of watch that's going to help somebody grow in their Christian walk. Most of the time, it's the world, it's our culture looking at us as Christians, going, why are they this way? And it's more of a nitpicky type thing, trying to find holes in our lives where our walk doesn't match our talk. We need to be mindful of that. We need to understand that in our life we are an example. Are we going to be the kind of example that people should follow, like later on when Paul writes, "Follow me as I follow Christ"? Or are we going to be the kind of example that he's talking about here in 1 Corinthians 10:11, where things happen to be an example, they were written for our instruction, upon whom the ends of the age have come? Are we going to be the kind of person, the kind of example that needs to be avoided as a cautionary tale? Well, only you can decide that yourself. Only you can decide how you're going to live your life. The best way to know how to live your life is to stay grounded in the Word of God. Take some time every day. Get in the Word. Pray. Bring your concerns to the Lord. And then live as though the Lord has got it covered. I know it's difficult at times, but we have a Father who cares and listens to our prayers. We need to remember that, and we need to live like that. Be that example that people need in their life, not to be avoided, but to be followed. I hope you have a great day today. Don't forget tonight, 6:30, in-person youth gatherings here at Violet Ridge Church of Christ, but also here on Facebook Live, we're going to be doing our Hebrew study, getting further into chapter 5. We'll see you then. Have a great day.